If you're thinking about taking on those hills and mountains down there in the desert, I'd wait a few hours. Let the temperature cool down a little bit. Why don't you watch a little baseball instead? Stay indoors, enjoy it, get some shade. It's spring training baseball. The Royals and Mariners from Peoria Stadium, and we've got it for you right here on Root Sports. Welcome inside the Forward Sports Desk. Brad Adam, Bill Kruger with you. All right, Taijuan Walker, fantastic last night. 6 shutout innings. The King, Felix Hernandez, on the mound today, coming off a rocky start. Is this an important start for Felix? All kidding aside, he's made the team, right? We're not worried about him?
I kind of think so, yeah. I think he's in.
But he needs to work out a few things on this start, right?
Well, I don't care who you are. When you've had a poor outing, it affects you and it makes you want it a little bit more. I mean, at this point, what's important to Felix Hernandez? Arm strength development and pitch refinement. That doesn't sound a whole lot about how many earned runs you give up. It's about dialing his pitches in. You know, he didn't have a good turn. He gave up a couple home runs against the Cubs, a 6th spot in 2+. And he obviously wants to get to a higher pitch count, get more innings under his belt. That'll be the goal today. Maybe, 5 innings. We'll see what happens. But he is a competitor. So coming off a poor outing, he's going to have extra incentive to not only accomplish those two things, Brad, but to also get some people out and show everybody who the dominant guy on the field is. And that's Felix Hernandez.
Obviously, he's aware, and he watched last night what Taijuan did, which is great. But I think you're right. I think Felix wants to say, hey, remember me?
Yeah.
I'm the King. I'm the #1 guy on this staff. All right, for more on the King, Mr. Felix Hernandez, let's go down to Peoria. Dave Sims standing by with the skipper.
Lloyd, let's talk about pitching. Felix goes today. What are you looking for from him today, especially coming off that last outing against the Cubs?
Yeah, I think this is an important outing, particularly in the spring where we need to get him built. And I would love for him to go 5, and if things work out well, maybe 6 innings, get the pitch count up to about 80, 85 pitches, and he'll be set to go.
Let's go back to last night. Taijuan Walker has run his string to 18 consecutive scoreless innings. I mean, the kids look great. Has he locked up a spot in the rotation?
Has he done that? I had no idea. He's pitched extremely well, and he just needs to continue to compete. We still have about 10 days down here. No decision has been made, but I've been very pleased with where he is at this particular time.
Last question about the bullpen. Are things crystallizing for you there? Because you do have a glut, which is a good problem.
Well, that's probably tougher than the rotation itself, is what we do in the bullpen. Because if you really think about the dynamics of it, we probably have about 10 arms down there available for 7 spots. So that's going to be very difficult as well.
All right, Lloyd, thanks.
Thank you both, gentlemen. Yeah, remember that bullpen, 8 strong last year, now just 7, so spots are tougher to come by. Our Lexus pitching matchup today following Felix, you got Medina, Furbush. Again, Tyler Olson, the lefty from Gonzaga, been very impressive, yet to give up a run this spring, still trying to be that second lefty out of the pen. All right, that's the pitching matchup for the Mariners. Who will they face? Well, the AL pennant winners from last year, the Kansas City Royals. They've got a pretty good lineup going, anchored by that man, the Haws. Eric Hosmer hitting .325 this spring. He's the DH, batting cleanup. Some good hitters in the lineup going up against Felix Hernandez today. How about the Mariners lineup? It's a split squad. They've also got a team up against the Milwaukee Brewers. This one with us in Peoria taking on the Royals. You got Weeks leading off. Brad Miller hitting second. Kyle Seager at .344 this spring. Cruz, Zanino, big home run last night. He's got 4 this spring. Jackson, Alex Jackson, that is. Andy Chavez and Paulini and Sean O'Malley round out the 9 there. So with a split squad, you get to see some of the starters there. Again, some of the starters against Milwaukee, but the ones that are there, how about a Kyle Seager? How about a Mike Zanino? Guys who have obviously made the team, but just trying to find the stroke, just trying to find it and keep it, I guess, there till the regular season. Is that what they're trying to do right now?
Every game you go out to compete against what's in front of you, but I think obviously there's timing, and you want to get on a roll where the ball slows down and gets bigger, things that pitchers hate. But hitters are trying to make happen. So these guys have a pretty clear sense, particularly a guy like Seager, about what he wants to accomplish. And he's had a terrific spring. We've seen him hit the ball the other way a little bit with authority, and I think he may be more willing to do that. And if he is, his average will go up this year.
Speaking of opposite way, how about Alex Jackson, the rookie, home run opposite field a couple of games ago. He gets a start in right field. So that's who's on the field, but where are you watching? Who you where are you? What's going on? We want to know where you're watching. Share us a photo on Facebook. Instagram or Twitter. Use the hashtag #WhereIRoot like these kind of people, and we could use them on the air. Remember, we want to see you in the photo. Not just your kids, not just your pets, especially not your pets, but you. Clayton, thank you. #WhereIRoot. Let us know. It's a beautiful day in Peoria. We got some day baseball for you. It's going to be a fun telecast. It's always good, even in spring, when you've got Felix Hernandez on the mound, especially when Felix needs to prove himself a little bit. Maybe he does today. Let's get out to the berm in Peoria. Oh, my goodness. How good is that? Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, just enjoying another day in paradise, guys.
Absolutely, Brad. 82 degrees, sunshine here in Arizona as the Mariners take the field against the defending American League champion Kansas City Royals. And this young man is building early memories. He's got a Felix shirt. I'm sure he'll get the bobblehead as we move forward through this season. And the King is on the mound. And Bill talked about a point you and I, Mike, we talked about a lot. You get an ace like Felix Hernandez coming off a subpar performance. He's got to get back to his standards.
Well, I think that he wants to. That's for sure. He was not happy after his last outing. Had a tough time with his slider and his changeup. So I think we're going to see some improvement there. His velocity was fine. I think his arm strength is good. But more importantly, as Lloyd was talking about with you, Dave, you need to get his arm strength up. And to do that, he's going to have to pitch in this game. Probably go 5 innings, I would imagine, today. So it's an important outing on that end of it. And I think just for his own psyche, he wants to feel better about things. I expect him to pitch well this afternoon.
6 hits, 6 earned runs against the Cubs in the last outing. You said that you were working that game on radio. Wind was blowing out that day, and a couple of balls were really tattooed.
Well, Bryant, the third baseman, is leading the Cactus League in home runs, the third baseman for the Cubs. He hit a home run off of Felix, and there was a couple of other balls that were hit out of the ballpark that day. And for Felix, he gave up 2 of those home runs. But again, I think if you were to watch that game yourself, you would see a lot of pitches that were elevated and out over the plate. And it doesn't matter who you are, even as great as Felix is, he knows he's going to get hit. And he seemed to be more upset about the quality of the pitch and the location. So I expect him to see some improvement this afternoon.
Wind a factor today, blowing hard right to left. 82 degrees here in Peoria. Mariners coming off a nice win last night against the Cubs behind Taijuan Walker. Home run by Mike Zunino on his birthday. Well, here we go. The defending American League champion Kansas City Royals in town. Alcides Escobar, their shortstop, will lead off. You're part of Mariner Nation. You had to watch these Kansas City Royals with great jealousy and envy last year in the postseason. They made the playoffs as a wild card entrant. Beat the A's in a first playoff. It was backhanded by Seager. Quick one out. Then took out the Angels, sweeping them. And then sweeping the Orioles. And Ned Yost in his 6th year, longest tenured manager in Royals history. Back-to-back winning seasons. And they're in a tough division in that American League Central. A lot of good things you're in about Cleveland and the White Sox and Detroit. One out, here's Alex Gordon. Gordon having a slow spring for him so far. 231, no homers and 1 RBI. Felix coming off a 15-6 season. ERA champion, 2.14 in the American League. Snappy breaking ball there. 0-2. Weeks, Chavez, and Jackson in the outfield for the Mariners. Strike 3 call. Gordon didn't like it. Quick 2 outs. Felix meaning business here from the get-go. 2 down.
Looks like a good fastball, going to run it off the outside corner. Put a little extra on that fastball, but you can see Mike Zunino framing it. Like a good pitch. I think the thing that I'll be looking for with Felix today is some of his changeups that he's going to throw. We know he likes to bounce it, especially when he's ahead in the count. Was not able to do that in his last outing, so I'd look for that pitch to be down in the zone. Maybe some sliders to the right-handers, try to get that pitch off the plate away.
Mariners have a fine young catcher, Mike Zunino. Here's another one right here, Salvador Perez. 324 with a homer and 7 runs batted in this spring. He's one of the biggest catchers in the American League.
There's the slider off the plate away. That's the pitch that he was leaving up and in the middle of the plate against the Cubs in his last outing.
1 to Perez. 1-1. Hit hard. Backhanded by Brad Miller. High throw. Coming down is Dan Pelini. And Felix throws a 1-2-3 first inning. Nice play by Pelini on the high throw. Nothing across for Kansas City. Mariners coming to bat on this beautiful Thursday.
You never know.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your local Ford stores. Guys aren't lying. It is a beautiful day in Peoria. A nice, easy inning for Felix as he gets ever so closer to making his 8th career opening day start. And, Dave and Mike, sorry if I broke that story today, but I think it's pretty obvious who's going to get that start.
Yeah, that's a strong limb you're out on there, Brad. Thank you.
Yes.
We go to the bottom of the first inning. Ricky Weeks going to lead it off for the Mariners here. It's bright afternoon against Jeremy Guthrie. Ricky in the leadoff spot last night. Led off the game with a base hit to right. Went 1 for 3. Go, Jeremy! Guthrie, we've seen him quite often out of Roseburg, Oregon. 35 years old. 6'1", 205. His 4th season with Kansas City. He's been around with Cleveland for 3 years. 5 years with Baltimore and part of a season with Colorado. Ricky Weeks, 61% of his plate appearances in his career come as a leadoff man during his 11 years with the Milwaukee Brewers. Breaking ball. Short right field. Second baseman going back to make the play. Christian Colon, one away.
I see Ricky in the leadoff spot over the course of the summer, especially against a tough left-hander. Seen last night, Weeks was leading up, as you mentioned. They had Austin Jackson hitting second. That was an interesting looking lineup, and for Austin, the way that he's been hitting the ball the other way, having a good spring, that would work out pretty well, I think, against a lefty.
Boy, I'll say. Brad Miller stands in. He was in the 9-hole in last night's game. Picked up a base hit. 1 for 4. Split squad action today. Elias is throwing against Milwaukee over in Maryville. Malone gets another play and throws to Casey Kotchman, former Mariner. 2 away. That'll bring up Kyle Seager. Drove in the Mariners' first run last night with a sacrifice fly in the first inning. Batted 5th in last night's batting order. Robinson Cano not here today.
Been a good spring for Kyle as he goes about his business, hitting .344 overall. Also has 9 RBIs. Leads the Mariners.
Swung the bat really well here at home, too. Gold Glove third baseman. Breaking ball for Guthrie's in there for strike 0-2. Guthrie 13-11 last year, 4.13 ERA in 32 starts with 1 complete game. 202 and 2/3 innings pitched. Back to the breaking ball, misses 1-2. Mariners will see the Royals again tomorrow, 6:05 start time. We'll have it for you on the Mariners Radio Network. James Paxton will be getting his second start. 1-2 to Seager. To left field, hits it pretty well. Gold Glove left fielder out there. Alex Gordon wins the battle with the Sun, and the Mariners retired in order in the first. Good to have you aboard here, everybody. No score. Royals and the Mariners. Total batter domination and miniaturize it. Introducing the King Felix bobblehead. Thanks to Root Sports. Free to the first 20,000 fans on Saturday, April 18th against the Rangers. Get royally excited for Felix bobblehead night by grabbing your tickets at mariners.com. It's one of many desert scenes in the Southwest we take the Felix bobblehead to. We'll have more of Felix coming up of the big tour as we move along in the broadcast. Mariners against the Kansas City Royals today. Mariners went 2-2 against the Royals at Safeco last year and swept them in Kansas City. So look at Eric Hosmer taking a strike from Felix. Baja is off to a pretty good start. 325, 2 home runs and 8 runs batted in. Big part of their success last season. Kansas City going 89-73, just a couple wins more than the Mariners had.
When you were watching the postseason, how many times do you think about the Mariners going into Kansas City and sweeping them and missing getting into the postseason by just a game?
I thought about it all the time. I texted Lloyd one time. I said, how much is this killing you? He says, you don't even want to know. September 23 through 25, Mariners sweep 3 in Kansas City.
That's when Kansas City was hot, too.
Exactly. Bouncing ball charged, easily handled by Sean O'Malley. Throws it Pelini for 1 out. Yeah, that's goes back to what we say all the time. Just get in it. Just get into the postseason. Beautiful day here. Get your own space out on the berm. So far, so good for Felix. 4 up, 4 down. He'll face right fielder Paulo Orlando.
Well, early on, I think the difference we're seeing, too, out of the 4 outs he's recorded, 3 of them on the ground, which was not the case against the Cubs.
There's a drive deep to right center field. Going back is the right fielder Alex Jackson, a converted catcher, to make the grab. 2 away. Looking forward to seeing him hit in person. It'll be the first time, maybe the second time I've seen him swing the bat.
Be my second. I saw him in surprise against the Rangers. We had Chris Gwynn on the telecast last night, director of player development. He was talking about Alex, and he said the transition from being a catcher to the outfield has been an easy one for him. Likes his arm out there so he can cover some ground.
Very promising. Baseball America calling him the Mariners' #1 prospect. A lot of people believe he's going to be on a fast track to the major leagues. 0-1 to Roberts. Easy one hopper to Miller. Felix breezes through the first 2 innings. Glad you're with us here on Root Sports. Coming up for the Mariners, Cruz, Zunino, and Jackson, the heart of the order. Back here in Peoria, as we go to the bottom of the second inning, Mariners will have Cruz, Zunino, and Jackson against the veteran right-hander Jeremy Guthrie. Guthrie making news last year. As we look at Cruz, who's going to be a big power source for the Mariners. Guthrie retired as an ardent sneaker collector. More than 500 pairs. Any iteration of Air Jordans, he has. Ball and 2 strikes. That's what he's wearing today. Of course, they're baseball spikes. Pitch to Cruz, down and away. 2-2.
I wonder what happens when one of his kids throw the shoes on and go to school, run around a little bit in them.
I got a feeling it's probably not pleasant. 2-2. Hit down to the third baseman, Ryan Roberts. On away. That's a serious obsession. 500 pairs of sneakers. I don't know if I've owned 500. I know I have not owned 500 pairs of sneakers in my lifetime. Come on.
Not in my lifetime. No way.
And the 2 of us have not combined for 500.
No way.
I mean, they're just sneakers. They look good. You're comfortable in them.
I mean, some of them are worth something, though.
He's not the only. Colin Kaepernick of the 49ers is another one of those guys, too. Mike Zunino, Mariner catcher. Had a chance to chat with him today. What'd you think of Taijuan Walker? He said, oh my goodness. Said he came into camp with a chip on his shoulder. He asked a lot of questions. That's a foul ball, hit hard. And he said that his transformation in the last year has been, talking about Taijuan Walker, has been outstanding. And obviously 18 scoreless speaks for itself. And then Mike talking about, as what you were, the topic we talked about with you last night, his stance. He said he went back to doing stuff that he did at Florida. Opening that stance up. Roberts bobbles. Still time to throw out Zunino. 2 outs here in the second. The Mariners' 20-game plan. You can take advantage of several benefits in 2015. Save up to 30% off single-game tickets. Receive postseason priority. Plus, enjoy exclusive season ticket holder events at the ballpark. So pick out a plan that's right for you. Log on to Mariners.com/tickets. 2 outs for Alex Jackson.
Alex has been called up from the minor league camp a couple of times, 2 for 5, and one of those hits, a home run, hit a home run out to right field.
Ryan Roberts inning. All 3 assists, quick work against the Mariners in the second inning. Third inning coming up from Peoria. Peoria, the tradition of Mariners bobbleheads. It began during the 2001 season when Ichiro was the first player featured for the bobblehead giveaway on July 28th of that year at Safeco Field. Felix Hernandez was first honored on May 18th in 2007. More desert landscapes from the spectacular scenery along the Arizona-Utah border, about 5 hours north of the Peoria Sports Complex, just off US 89 highway. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers with you here in Peoria. Felix on the mound, delivers a strike to Christian Colon, the second baseman.
We were talking about the bobbleheads, and Curtis did some information. He said the first one, it's believed the first one was in 1999, Willie Mays by the Giants.
By a major league team. This one ripped down into the corner. That'd be extra bases.
Yeah, by a major league team.
Colon with a leadoff double as Ricky Weeks gets it back in. Third double of the spring for Colon.
Well, let's take a look at this pitch. They want to go back inside. Probably a 2-seam fastball. Again, this pitch is elevated above the belt.
Leadoff man's aboard for Casey Kochman.
When I tell you something, that's what it is.
Brief time as a Mariner. Colon will hold at second. Gotchman, now 32 years old, out of St. Petersburg, Florida. He's with the Mariners in 2010 in 125 games. Hit just .217, 9 homers and 51 runs batted in. Came up through the Angels organization. So Felix, 15 wins last year. No question an improved offense. And if Felix is Felix, you're looking at 20 wins?
I think so.
He gets away from Zunino.
You look at all the games that he's pitched over the last 5-6 years and the lack of run support for him. I think absolutely he can get to 20.
Was it stat last year that they hit like 9-10 no decisions with a sub-2 ERA?
Yeah.
Might have been more than 9 or 10. One-two to Kotchman. Swing and a miss. Overmatched it. Felix's second strikeout.
And this looks like maybe the changeup. Yeah. Good pitch. Good movement on his changeup. Then again, trying to keep that pitch down. He wasn't able to do that in his last outing. It was a much better pitch.
Gerard Dyson. Mike Blowers, president of the fan club.
We first saw him a few years back. He wasn't getting to play much.
And he came in one game, right?
Yep.
And
he ran all over the place. I was wondering, who is this? I think Lorenzo Cain was playing center field for him, and we had a chance to see Dyson come in. He was impressive, and then he's made some things happen against the Mariners over the last few years.
The playoff run he had. His team ran like crazy last season. Felix goes 3-0 to Dyson, hitting .303 in the spring.
Mariners have their infield in. With nobody out and Kotchman hitting, they had the guys back, but now he brings them up with 1 out.
3-0 pitch. Center field line drive right at Endy Chavez. Here's a throw by Endy offline. And the Royals have a 1-0 lead. So Dyson gets the job done with a sac fly. 2 away. So 1-0 Kansas City, back to the top of the order in Escobar.
Interesting that they let the number 9 hitter 3-0 swing away.
Escobar grounded out to Seager to lead off the ball game. Strike 1. With a bounding ball, good hop for Kyle. Throws out Escobar. A run on 1 hit, no errors. And nobody left. Kansas City with a 1-0 lead here in Peoria.
Mariners fans, Buhner out there in the berm enjoying the game. KC, though, strikes first. They lead 1-0, moving to the bottom of the third. They get a run off that man, Felix Hernandez. What a year last year. 7th consecutive season, 200-plus innings, 6 straight with 200 or more strikeouts. He won 15 games. He led the American League in earned run average at 2.14. Bill, that's the league that has the DH, and you say that's a league that tries. The play hard league. I mean, that is so hard. 2-1-4. Those numbers, is one more impressive to you, the innings, the strikeouts, or the earned run average from last year?
I think an earned run average that hovers around 2 is just almost off the charts in the American League. You know, Kershaw does it on a regular basis in the National League, but we know they're not trying as hard over there.
7.5 hitters.
That's correct. That's correct. But when you look at Felix's year last year, not winning the Cy Young because we have people that can't pick up the West Coast box score or whatever their problem is, to determine his fate on one game when he had probably his best season. Lowest batting average against, his whip under 1, wins 15 games, had that improbable streak of 16 straight 7 plus 2 or less, which is more or less like a DiMaggio hitting streak. When you think about it, that's an 80-game span of doing that kind of work. It's just unbelievable, Felix Hernandez.
It's never been done before. Look out there on the foul ball. He has Guthrie pitching to the bottom of the third of the Mariners. But, you know, back to Felix, we said in the pregame that we needed maybe not prove something today, but make an improvement and work on some pitches. And you've seen that so far?
Looks crisp to me. I mean, he's 8 of 10 first pitch strikes, good fastball command, ball's moving, changeup looks very good. Looks like he's noodling a little bit with the slider cutter. He tried a couple of them against Dyson, fell behind the count, let the 9-hole hitter hit like Mike Blowers said on 3-0. That's never going to happen. So to me, Felix looks really good.
Coming off last year, you mentioned it could have been his best year. He lost some weight. He's in great shape. Always looking to improve, but when you're Felix, how do you improve, and how do people notice an improvement?
Well, I think it's a standard that he sets for himself every year. He made himself get in even better shape this year. His control numbers were so much better last year, like 48 walks and 248 strikeouts. I mean, just incredible hits to innings ratio. His consistency with his breaking ball, I thought, was so much better last year. His curveball, which I think really gave him the contrast that he needed in his repertoire, because his repertoire tends to bunch a little bit because his changeup and his fastball tend to be kind of close to one another. So he's noodling with it with a cutter. Maybe he'll ditch the slider, throw more cutters, which will give him a pitch that's a little bit more different than slider curveball, if that makes any sense. And always fastball command. His fastball command, probably the weakest part of his game. His ball moves so much, it's not a big problem for him. But if he gets really good there, he'll be unhittable.
As if he wasn't
already
in times last year, yeah. So maybe 5+ pitches. You know, we certainly appreciate him. Go back to Dave and Mike. I know, guys, calling Felix games, I know we get a little excited when he's on the mound and just really enjoy watching the show.
Oh, there's reason to be excited, no question about that, as O'Malley looks at a ball there, 1-1. Jeremy Guthrie's retired the first 8 men that he's faced. And Felix is special. The whole country knows about it. Hey, something else. 1-1. Guthrie working a pretty good breaking ball today. Five groundouts thus far for Guthrie. Showing O'Malley 2, make that 3 for 23 in limited action here in the spring.
Guthrie also looks as if he has a pretty good two-seamer today. A lot of ground ball outs from the Mariners this afternoon. First 8 hitters, 5 ground ball outs.
Kansas City taking the Giants to the last game of the World Series last season. So O'Malley is retired via strikeout, 2 Ks back-to-back here in the third, as Jeremy Guthrie's retired the first 9 men that he's faced. just outside the Peoria Sports Complex. Live Mariner Baseball is back in 2015. MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected with live radio broadcasts, stats, breaking news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. There's a big hit. MLB.com and MLB.com Advanced Media. Boy, they do a fabulous job with our industry here. So we welcome you back inside the stadium here in Peoria. Top of the 4th, Felix Hernandez threw 3 innings, 26 pitches, 20 for strikes, a couple of Ks. He's got Alex Gordon leading off here.
He is definitely more comfortable this afternoon than he was in his last start.
Into the on deck circle, and Perez caught it with his left hand on a hop.
That's a big left hand too. He's a big man.
6'3", 240. Salvi Perez, good one.
Talking to Steve Palermo the other day, former Major League umpire, really good umpire, and now he works with all the umpires. And he was talking about the catchers, and he pointed out Mike Zunino and Perez as far as receiving and their ability to get the umpire a good look.
Not moving around too much, keeping the hand steady.
Exactly.
Framing it well.
Yep. They said he was talking about it, and especially with Felix, because it's so difficult. And I was talking to him with Felix's fastball. We heard Bill Kruger talking about how it moves all over the place. And they said the impressive thing with Mike is his ability to catch the ball when it's moving, especially when it's moving down, and hold it there, and not take it out of the strike zone, but hold it right where it's at. And he had a lot of nice things to say about Mike and Perez. He pointed both of those two gentlemen out.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Gordon. Back to Felix. And to your point, you'd mentioned this, and we've talked about this over the years. Sometimes you see a catcher make the catch and take it out of the strike zone, as opposed to catching, having soft hands and having to give, and the umpire now is a very good look at it.
Right, and not only they have the soft hands to be able to do it, but when they catch it, to stop the momentum of that baseball when it's moving at 93, 94 miles an hour and sinking, and to hold it right there.
Yeah. Sounds easy. Go try it.
Well, I've just mentioned 2, and he didn't mention the other ones either. That tells you how hard it is.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Perez. Grounded out to short. Ball 1. Popping that glove, 1-1. So shot foul, 1-2. Felix and Robinson Cano on the regional cover of Sports Illustrated this week. Talked to Cano today. Said it took him about 5-10 minutes to get that shot. It's a good shot, too. If you haven't seen it, if it hasn't come in the mail, well, today's Thursday. If you get it via mail, it should be there today. 2-2.
Last pitch, a good pitch from Felix. 93-mile-an-hour fastball right at the bottom of the strike zone. Didn't get the call.
Nice hands by the shortstop, Brad Miller. Ground's a lot harder here in Zona than most places, right?
It can be a really fast infield. The grass is cut really low, and then the dirt after about 3rd, 4th inning, you can see it's starting to dry out already. So good job by Brad to stay with it. After today, it's supposed to start getting into the 90s, and that's when it gets a little more difficult on these fields because they'll dry out really fast.
95 degrees the next couple of days. Did you sometimes when you play down here, In some games, you feel like you got to check inventory. I got my teeth, my nose, and other areas of your body, especially when you played at third.
Yeah, absolutely you do. And the other part about it is because the weather's nice, everybody's wearing white shirts and they're down low to the field. It's hard to pick the ball up right away.
Another ground ball by Felix. Easy inning, 1-2-3. Mariners trail 1-0 here at Peoria to the Royals. At Safeco Field versus the Angels, and you can get your hands on a Mariners calendar. April 7th and 8th, the first 10,000 fans will receive a full-size yearly calendar thanks to BASF. Clear space on the fridge or office wall, and get your tickets right now to Mariners calendar night at mariners.com. Good to have you with us here in the desert. Big Sims, Mike Flowers, Ridge Sports crew. And one of the topics of this entire spring is big Kyle Seager, coming off a wonderful season last year, goes for the Gold Glove. And what would you say as you look at it, Ricky Weeks leading off top of the order, the ceiling for Mr. Seager, what would it be? As this one's popped up and playable in the infield, the second baseman Cologne coming on.
Shading his eyes from the sun. You know, with Kyle, I'm not sure what that ceiling is going to be. I think when he first came to the big leagues, he looked like a nice player to me. I liked him right away. I thought he would be a guy that would spray the ball around, hit with some power. But you look at last year with 25 home runs. He drove in 96 on a club that struggled to score runs. Wins a Gold Glove. It won't be his last All-Star appearance, I can guarantee you that. But I think just looking at his numbers overall, I think we'll see his average continue to go up. 268 last year. I think he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be closer to the 290 range. Maybe even hit 300 in a season. That wouldn't surprise me. Power-wise, a little tougher ballpark, but he showed last year with his home runs at Safeco Field that doesn't seem to bother him. He can play with that right field porch. Maybe hit 31 years. He's definitely going to drive in 100 runs. He may do that this year with the lineup that he's going to be in. And Bill, I know the other thing that I like about him, and go to you as the left-handed pitcher, improving against the lefties, and looks like he's starting to use the entire field a little bit more like he did when he first came up. And with that power, I don't know if you want to put any numbers on it, but I just think he's going to continue to get better.
Yeah, I think you really touched on all the great qualities of Kyle, other than he's just a salt-of-the-earth guy. You hand him the big contract, I don't think it motivates him one way or the other. I think he's just going to go about his business and strive for betterment every single day, defensively and offensively. But getting to your point, he's a good middle-in hitter. Let's be real. That's why he's got 25 home runs on his ledger last year. But I think his willingness to go the other way, particularly as the lineup has gotten stronger, is going to allow his average to go up, which means hitting left-handers better. They're going to pitch him away. And just guys that have the ability to pitch him away, hitting that ball to left field, maybe drive some balls out in that alley, shoot for 40 doubles. I don't think that's a bad goal to have. I know these guys all want to hit a lot of home runs, and he's going to hit his share. And I just think he's just such a hard-working, competitive, quietly competitive guy that he's just going to strive for betterment in all parts of his game every single day.
Bill, do you think that for him, one of the things that we pointed on is his ability to hit left-handers? He was a lot better at that last year. And to do that, he's going to have to get the other ball away, because I would assume, you being a former lefty, you would just try to keep the ball away from him right now.
Yeah, well, I know he's dangerous on the middle inner half of the plate. And boy, when people make mistakes there, he loses it. I mean, he's really good there. So people can figure that out. There's just too much information floating around. But this guy got, remember when he first came up, he got sand kicked in his face. And he came back a whole bigger, stronger guy that says, I'll show you I can pull the ball. You're not going to knock the bat out of my hands. And now, like you said, it comes full circle. Learning to handle lefties and hitting the ball the other way is still something that he can naturally do.
Orlando makes that catch, and Jeremy Guthrie, what an outing for him. He's retired all 12 men that he has faced here in Peoria. 1-0 Royals. And Mariners Nation will be treated to 6 bobblehead giveaways during the upcoming regular season. Felix Hernandez will be honored for the 9th consecutive year when the first 20,000 fans receive a likeness of the King on April 18th at Safeco Field. Now, these desert vistas in the Southwest can offer a kaleidoscope of colors with each turn of the head. Brown hills of Phoenix give way to the lush green forest of Flagstaff, which quickly turn to various painted deserts and vermilion cliffs as one continues traveling to the north. For you Western film buffs, you keep waiting for John Wayne to come over that hill. Paulo Orlando leads off, the right fielder, followed by Ryan Roberts and Christian Colon. Felix giving up a run on a hit. And how about Gerard Dyson, the 9-hole hitting center fielder, swinging 3-0 man at third with a sac fly to produce the only run of the ball game. This after Colon doubled to lead off the third, wild pitch to double to lead off the third inning, and then wild pitch to third base.
And unfortunately, Guthrie's matching him. It's just been 1 hit in the game through 4 innings.
Guthrie's had 12 up, 12 down, a couple of strikeouts. Two and one. You see a lot of Hernandez and Cruz jerseys, shirts all over Safeco Field this season. Split squad day today. Part of the rest of the crew's over in Milwaukee today in Maryville. Nice play by Seager. This is one tight infield. You know, Miller's making plays. Taylor was making plays before he got hurt. Seager, you got Cano, and Lomo holds his own at first.
I thought that last play by Kyle was an example of one of the areas that he improved in and helped him get the Gold Glove. his feet, and he talks about playing third. Even though you're out there, you're playing defense, he likes to play it offensively, and that is he wants to come get the ball as much as he possibly can, and you can see him smother it almost to the ground, and that's the reason why he's able to make those in-between hops look so easy. Well, what a year he had defensively last year, and you're right, David, this is a really good infield.
His decisiveness has gotten so much better at third base. I mean, it was good.
It was good, but that's the biggest key. If you watch the guys, Beltre, who everybody puts the benchmark at, he's super aggressive, and you have to be that way. And if you're going to make a mistake, you'd rather make it being aggressive coming in on the ball, because sometimes you're not going to have the angle and you can't tell what kind of hop you're going to get, and by then it's too late. But you rarely see him retreat. Every now and then he will to get a little bigger hop, but for the most part he's being aggressive, and that's the way the good ones play it.
1-2. And again, it's hard down here, that infield. Flashbacks? Any flashbacks?
I was telling you earlier that when we were talking about the field that we had I think it was our last spring game of '95 on this field. And it was, low to mid 90s out here, baked the field out. There's nothing that the grounds crew can do about it, but I ended up getting a ball that hit and came straight up, and I had my flip down sunglasses. Guys don't wear them much anymore, but it hit me right between the eyes, broke that scar across the forehead to start the season. And that's the last thing any of these guys want, is to get hurt, but especially that last week, you just don't have time to recover.
That
good pitch
was a fine pitch by Felix. Pick up strikeout number 3. 2 down here in the 5th.
Let's take a look at it. Right off the outside corner, and again down. He's done a really good job today keeping the ball down. So he's made his adjustments. He looks really good this afternoon.
It's good, so you can tell in that body language that Felix, you can see that little extra, coming off the game before, and now it's like the attitude is just like what Zunino talked about Taiwan last night. He's got the same thing here today.
Well, I know, and he's so competitive about the things that he does, and he was really upset with his last outing. I had a feeling he was going to pitch well. And the thing that at the beginning of the game, he went out there. Normally in a spring game, they get the ball, they start to get loose. He started scratching around on that mound for a while, like he does during the season, and felt like his head was in the right place.
Sure is. I mean, he's just dealing. There's Seager playing that nicely. And a 1, 2, 3, 5th for Felix. Thanks for all the great tweets and photos during today's Mariners game here on Root Sports. Keep them coming. Tweet us at #WhereIRoot. Is presented by authority of the Seattle Mariners that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Seattle Mariners. Good to have you with us, everybody. Nelson Cruz leading off here in the 5th. 1-0 pitch from Guthrie, and Guthrie has been outstanding here through 4, retiring the first 12 men that he's faced. 2 strikeouts and representative share of ground balls and pop-ups.
Well, Lloyd was saying he wanted Felix to go at least 5, hopefully 6, but with his pitch count, he may be able to go 7 if he wants to.
Why not? Give him his work. As he said, want to build him up. 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Cruz, Zunino, and Alex Jackson 4, 5, and 6 here in the 5th inning. Cruz with the ground at the 3rd his first time, and there's the breakup of the perfecto. Base hit off the bat of Nelson Cruz.
Nelson having a good spring, 3 home runs and hitting .344. It looks like a low fastball, just stays with it. Jammed him a little bit, but he's strong, fights it off into center field. That's the pitch that he's been getting a lot of ground ball outs with this afternoon. Guys rolling over on the pitch, and he was able to stay inside of it.
Zunino bounced to 3rd his first time up. That gets away from Perez, and getting down to 2nd is Nelson Cruz. Wild pitch. Mariners will face Kansas City at home in June 22, 23, 24. Then go to Kansas City in September again, 22nd, 23rd, 24th. That could be very interesting if you base it on what happened last year. Kansas City figures to be involved in a tight race, and ditto. And the Mariners will be in the thick of things in the West. Swing and a miss by Zunino. What do you like in that Central? I like what Chicago's added with Samardzija and Robertson.
Yeah, I like Chicago. Abreu, he's something special.
Cruz will hold at 2nd.
I think the Indians are kind of interesting to me, though, and I have a lot of respect for Terry Francona. So
that's a good call. Yeah, they made some noise last year. They faded late. They hung in there.
See what kind of shape the Tigers bullpen is in this year. They've had some issues there.
That's got to be their number 1, right?
I would think so.
Here's Alex Jackson. In that 2nd inning, Cruz, Zunino, and Jackson all grounded out to 3rd. Ball 1. Mariners will be surprised to take on Kansas City tomorrow, 6:05 Pacific time. No telecast. Live on the Mariners radio network. Fly ball left field right to Gordon.
One of the things that we always talk about, Dave, too, is the Mariners bullpen. But I'll tell you what, Kansas City has some arms in their pen.
And they have a similar situation. Not enough spots for all the talent they have out there. Kelvin Herrera, Greg Holland.
Herrera throws 100. Holland's in the mid to upper 90s.
Veteran Jason Frazier, they see him today. They've added Ryan Madsen. Here's Endy Chavez. Mariners got a 2-out RBI last night from Robinson Cano. He doubled to right center field in the 5th inning. Mariners 3-2 win over the Cubs. Well, here we are late in camp, and 37 years young Endy Chavez still here.
He'll be here right till the end. You know that. Again, I give him a lot of credit. Well, how many years it's been he's come to camp with the Mariners on the outside looking in, but eventually he works his way up to Seattle.
Yes, he does.
Typically does a really good job for him.
3-0. On deck is Dan Paolini. Takes a strike. And he's both feet out of the box, but he's back in quickly. That has not been an issue. Here we are in the back end of spring training. Here's Gordon going to his left. Easy catch for him, and then he'll do it. Mariners, no runs, a hit. No errors, and a man left. Through 5, it's the Royals with a 1-0 lead. Kansas City here in Peoria. Glad you joined us here. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, and the Root Sports crew. And a lot of fun watching Felix Hernandez. 3 strikeouts through 5 strong innings.
Well, I mentioned it. After his last outing, he was not happy with it at all, and he's definitely made some adjustments, keeping the ball down today. He's only given up 1 hit. Hasn't walked anybody, so good sign for Felix. He looks really sharp. And that's what you want to see when you're getting towards the end of spring training.
Unofficially, I've got him with 1 3-ball count, and that was 3-0 to Dyson, man at third in the 3rd inning, and Dyson swinging 3-0, delivered a sac fly to center field for the only run. Casey Kochman, Dyson, and Escobar 8-9-1 against King here in the 6th. And that one slipped, ball 1. Kochman struck out on a 1-2 pitch his first time up. Good pitch, 1-1. In terms of competitive spirit, pitchers you've been around, this guy's got to be at or near the top.
Oh, I think that he definitely is. He pitches with an awful lot of emotion, and I think a lot of guys, especially when you have the resume that Felix has now, and all the things that he has accomplished. Talking about his last outing against the Cubs, a lot of them, wouldn't even think twice about it, but I could just tell today he was going to get that turned around real quick, and he was really upset after that outing, and he loves to compete.
Oof. See it right there.
Strikeout right there, and here we are in a spring game.
Right.
It's just, he's a lot of fun to watch. Take a look at it, see if Felix thought he had a swing on him. That was pretty close.
11 days ago when I saw him back in the backfield at field 6 in an inter-squad game, he was, come on, he's at pitch. It was a pickoff at first. Got him, come on, he's out. Didn't give it to him. He was working it. 2-2.
Yeah, he's fun.
And a great supporter of his teammates, man. This guy hits a home run, he's usually the first one to give the official hug. Line drive left field will drop in front of Ricky Weeks for a base hit. 2nd hit for Kansas City.
Well, just challenges them. 3-2 count. Didn't want to walk him. Challenges him with a good fastball. Throws it in the middle of the plate. Still jammed him a little bit. Soft line drive into left.
Well, one of the things Kansas City did well, particularly with this guy and Lorenzo Cain, they ran like wild on the bases. The major league best 153 stolen bases. That won't be the case with Kochman out there, but that's been a great. Well, that was a great weapon for them, particularly they got in the playoffs. Hey,
yes.
You know they're going and
just still win.
Let's go. Here it comes. That's a defensive changer too. A lot of moving parts create a lot of holes out there. On one to Dyson. Picked up his 4th RBI of the spring with that 3rd inning sacrifice fly. 1-1. Back with a strike. 1-2. I look forward to seeing Felix in the season opener day game April 6th against the Angels. First time in about 8 years the Mariners are opening a season at home. Yippee!
It will be Felix's 8th opening day start.
No play for Seager.
Talking about the Royals running. Speaking of running, here at the ballpark today, Willie Wilson signing autographs.
That man can play.
A lot of triples.
Yes, sir. Big part of that 85 World Championship team. Made the last out of the 1980 series, striking out at the hands of the late great Tug McGraw when the Phillies won it. 1-2. Stay alive swing there. Royals win the wild card game against the Oakland Athletics. Then the division series against Anaheim, sweep that, so 4-0. Sweep the Orioles in the league championship. That is some run coming from a wild card team, and Felix thought he had a strikeout.
It was a great pitch. He'd thrown him a number of pitches away, and it looked as if he painted that inside corner with a good fastball. But once again, did not get the call.
Swing and a miss. He gets him. Nasty breaking ball down and in. 4th strikeout for Felix.
He had a good feel for all of his off-speed pitches. Take a look at this one. The bottom dropping out of it. Dyson will swing right over the top. Felix with an out here in the 6th inning. He's only thrown 62 pitches. We're starting to get some action out in the bullpen, but Felix may have to go down to the pen and throw a few extra pitches if he gets out of this inning quickly. That is not uncommon down here in spring training. We see the guys do that often.
Top of the order, and Escobar to strike. Alcides with 2 ground outs to Seager at 3rd. Kansas City having a good spring, swinging the bat. 294, second in the American League to the Angels. 306. Mariners are 3rd at 282. Team batting average. One pitch. Runner goes. Swung on a hit to Miller. To O'Malley. And they get the double play. Well done. Felix defense getting it done behind him. Score remains Kansas City 1, the Mariners nothing.
KC still leads Seattle 1-0, moving to the bottom of the sixth. Time for a Mariners Throwback Thursday. Where were you 15 years ago today when the Kingdome was imploded? There she goes. I'm probably one of the few people here in the Northwest without a Kingdome memory, never set foot inside the building, but I know, Bill Kruger, you have several times, and can you pinpoint one, maybe your favorite Kingdome memory? Did you have any good Kingdome memories being a pitcher?
Well, I'll say this, that when that thing imploded, there were plenty of times I wish that was happening when I was on the mound, because it was not an easy place to go, particularly as an opponent. But I tell you, when they moved the plate and I came there to pitch in '91, left-handers, that was not a bad place to pitch. So I, as a Mariner, liked pitching at the Kingdome, believe it or not. But my memories are more 1977. I saw the second game I ever played there. I walked down and watched Nolan Ryan warm up and played there as an A-ball guy. I saw Jim Picosi in the dugout. That was kind of a big deal. So I don't have these memories of, the Edgar double and big stuff. Mine are little stuff.
And I think, Mike, that your memories, you remember it a little more fondly than Bill. Hitters seem to like that place a little better.
Oh, it was a great place to hit. I loved it. Yeah, it was a great place to hit. You mentioned Edgar's double, obviously, was one of them. I don't know how many catches that I saw Ken Griffey Jr. make there.
Oh, yeah.
The whole Spider-Man thing, I mean, he was just terrific, and that was a lot of fun to watch. But like Bill, I went there as a kid, too, and we had to watch a number of the games, and eventually being in the big leagues and get a chance to play at home and play in that ballpark was a real thrill for me. So there's a lot of great memories I had at the Kingdome. Especially the only thing that was bad about it, really, Bill, that I have is during the daytime, you forgot it was the daytime.
Yeah, it's a whole other world in there. Everything's controlled, and it's goofy.
Hey, guys, they talk about Safeco Field having a nice home field advantage. Home, obviously, for everywhere, you should have an advantage. Especially at 95 with the Kingdome, when it was rocking, was that a huge home field advantage for you guys?
I felt that it was. I think, obviously we had Randy Johnson as the number one, but with our lineup just fit that ballpark beautifully, and I thought it was a real advantage. And I guess when things started to get pretty serious during that season, we started to pack it in pretty good. Towards the end of the year, it was so loud you couldn't hear anything. Nobody wanted to come play us there. That was for sure. We were pretty good at home.
That's such an unusual element for baseball. You don't get that kind of feeling where the fans are on top of you. I mean, the Twins had it a little bit when they had it going there a couple different times. And then, what the 95 Mariners had, as you experienced, Mike. I was there for like a second. I was just there to kind of keep the dike from leaking in the middle of the season. But you guys had an unbelievable run to the finish line. That was just pure excitement.
That was a lot of fun. And again, what a lineup and a lot of great memories there. So Safeco Field's a beautiful ballpark, but I did my work over there at the Kingdome, so it was fun.
Well, Dave, you and I didn't get a chance to play in the Kingdome, but at least you've been inside. You've got some memories as well.
Well, I watched the '95 Final Four there, UCLA.
That's right.
Taking out Arkansas. I was at the O'Bannon brothers that year. Let's see, it was UCLA, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, North Carolina was the Final Four. And I'd done a couple of baseball games in there in '93, and I believe I did a game or two. No, I might have missed doing some games in the NBA when I was covering the NBA, but yeah, it was an interesting place to say the least. I always felt claustrophobic in there. And I generally don't feel that, but I mean, from being in outdoor ballparks all the time, and it was just this big mound of concrete. And I can see where you're talking about as a hitter, because the atmospherics weren't an issue at all.
No, it was great. And then it seemed as if the more people that we started to get in there, the more the ball would carry. So it was a lot of fun.
I know I've seen you and Buhner and Griffey and everybody get all wistful thinking about, man, if I could go back and hit now at 40 in that ballpark.
I get a little carried away.
That's good memories, man. Good for you.
Well.
Stays with that breaking ball. Sends it into right center field. Sean O'Malley. And he's going to dig for two. He's in there.
We know this about Sean O'Malley. He will run hard, and it's a good idea. Ball goes in the outfield. Make the outfielder make a play. Unfortunately, he ended up sliding, but I think he makes the right play afterwards. They throw behind him, and he decides to take off for second base. And it looks like Kochman makes a good throw, but the shortstop just misses it, so O'Malley hustles into second.
Scoring opportunity here for the Mariners and Ricky Weeks. Twice popped up to second base. KC leads on a sac fly by Dyson back in the third. Good count here for Ricky Weeks, 2-0. Mariners got Cruz to second in the fifth, but he was left stranded. Guthrie retired the first 12 men that he faced. It's 2-0. You get 3-0. Brad Miller's on deck. Turn him loose. 3-0. Line drive right at Gordon. Back safely is O'Malley.
That's the way you want to swing the bat at a 3-0 count. Get a good fastball to hit, cut it loose. Unfortunately, this line drive was right at Gordon in left field.
Hit it right on the butt. Gordon, a good throwing arm. O'Malley, good quickness. Well aware, got back safely. There's 2 outs. And Guthrie has reached his pitch count number 4 today here in the 6th. Take another look at the implosion of the Kingdome as we get a break here in Arizona. It's a perfect game bobblehead that was issued on May 15, 2013. Felix with the no-hitter. Perfect game back in August of 2012. Another good crowd here this afternoon at the Orioles Stadium at the Sports Complex. Greg Holland takes over on the mound. These two teams had the best bullpens in the league last year.
See Tyler Olson, Felix getting some extra work again. Just 64 pitches for him, so he's going to throw a little bit more in the bullpen. They wanted to stretch him out to 80. But Tyler Olson pitched in last night's ball game, going back to back.
Came in, got an out last night.
Only threw 4 pitches.
Yep. 0-1 here to Miller. Two outs with O'Malley. Good speed at second base. Reached on a single and an E6. Greg Holland, 5'10", 205, pitching against Brad Miller. Holland has put together 2 fantastic years. 93 saves combined last 2 years, 46 last year, 47 the year before. He's had some runs we've seen him. He's pretty much unhittable.
Unhittable, yeah.
One. Broke his bat. Fielded by Chris Woodward.
Well, he will get his fastball up there at 95, 97 miles an hour. Hard breaking ball.
So Brad Miller started the camp neck and neck with Chris Taylor. Taylor suffered a hand injury. May not see him till early mid-May. But they were waging one heck of a battle to win that shortstop position. O'Malley on the move again, and he's in standing at third. Back on September 23rd last year, top of the 9th, Miller broke a tie with a home run off of Holland. That was at Kansas City. 2-2 pitch. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and a runner at third is O'Malley. Could not hold up. Perez will throw down to first, and that'll do it for the Mariners here in the 6th. No runs, a hit, an error, and a man left. 1-0 Kansas City. The Felix Hernandez bobblehead took in the sights at the Paria River Valley earlier this month. Film buffs might recognize this scenery. The outlaw Josie Wales commenced production in this area back 1975 ahead of its release the following year. Hollywood discovered the valley in the 1940s, and several westerns were shot in this area through the 1970s. Outlaw Josie Wales, produced and starring Clint Eastwood, Sandra Locke, and Chief Dan George. Beautiful day here in Peoria. Good to have you with us. Felix Hernandez, nice work through 6 innings and finishing up in the bullpen. Get another look at Tyler Olson. He has been outstanding. Young man from Gonzaga.
Mariners looking for that second left-hander in the bullpen, and he's in the running. Thought it was interesting last night. Lloyd brings him in, just get the one left-hander out, which he was able to do, a weak ground ball out. And he's back in there today. See if he just pitches to the one batter or let him pitch an inning.
High pop right field. Alex Jackson with the sunglasses on makes a nice catch.
And that will be it for him again. Looks like Medina's going to come into the game.
Yeah, Lloyd looking to see Medina be a little more consistent in this outing. Let's see what happens. But certainly Olson getting a taste of what could be in the spring. Come in, get a tough left-hander, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You never know where life is going.
Now in the game for the Mariners. They still trail 1-0 in the 7th inning. And Bill, we just saw Tyler Olson. He's still trying to make the team. Let's assume Medina has made the team. Look at his numbers in spring. He's been very good. So he's not trying to make the bullpen, but still trying to make, I guess, not a spot in the pen, but a spot in the game. Explain what he's kind of vying for and jockeying for this spring.
As we all know, Fernando Rodney's got a stranglehold on the closer role. That's the 9th inning. So now we're talking about how does it all come together from the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings when you had this cast of right-handers that all pitched brilliantly last year. Farquhar, of course, Medina, you got Leon, you got Wilhelmsen. And so everybody's trying to get to the 8th inning because that's the premium job. That's the one that everybody looks at as the guy that really sets the table for Rodney. And all these guys have weaponry. They've all pitched well. So I think that's part of it. You know, Medina's trying to have a good outing. He's trying to refine his command with his sinker-slider combo, mixing his changeup. But that's really what it's all about, trying to become the 8th inning guy.
Is there a clear-cut favorite right now, or do you think that job is still up for grabs for Lloyd?
And who knows, Lloyd may hold those cards pretty tight to his vest. He may just not tell us. Because he kind of likes to play the baton game any way that he so chooses without really revealing to you why he's doing it. So, and that's his prerogative. And maybe keeping everybody loose down there as they don't know when they're coming in, maybe that's a good thing. Well, they're a pretty loose bunch anyway. But so I think if you look at the talent, and they're all very talented, I think this guy really suits the spot the best. He's got a hard slider for righties. He can be overpowering at times. To me, his stuff really suits the 8th inning the best. It's just been a little bit of inconsistency with his command.
That 8th inning guy, you've seen like a Mariano Rivera do that, move into the closer role. Is that a closer in waiting role sometimes in the 8th inning, that guy?
Could be. I mean, we've seen it play out that way before. That's sort of the next step to becoming the closer. And these guys all, in their time when they're driving to the park by themselves or shaving in the mirror when nobody's watching, they're in a place where they're thinking about things like that. Down the road, that's my goal. You'd kind of hope they would be. They'd all want to shoot for the closer role. That's the premium job.
So Medina gives up a 1-out single there as we go back to Dave and Mike. So these guys, even if you're on the club, you got to figure out where you're going to be slotted in. So still lots to uncover, I guess, the rest of the spring training.
Well, Bill nailed it. I think Lloyd's not ready to be fully committal right now.
And I don't think that he will over the course of the summer either. He moved it around quite a bit last year, and that worked out well for him. So, to try to pick that one guy, I think is difficult. And sometimes he'll just go with the guy that's pitching the best, who has the hot hand, and we saw that from him last year too. The good news is he has guys that have closed. Farquhar's closed. Tom Wilhelmson's been a closer.
Funny you mention that, because I heard an argument saying that, and the sabermetricians talk about it's no gimme that Rodney, that they have that small window, 2-3 years, to be at that peak, and Rodney led the majors last year. And should he falter this year, they have nobody to go to. But you just answered that question. I mean, Tom had a brilliant year and a half. Farquhar had a good close to a couple of years ago where he finished out in 13.
Right.
And this kid potentially could be he could be a guy that you could possibly put in there. But I agree with Bill. I like this guy for the 8th inning.
I think so too. I don't have a problem with that. And as Bill also mentioned, there was a point in the season last year where he was extremely dominant. You could barely put him in play. The biggest thing with Medina, and something that Lloyd has talked about too, is at times he loses command of the strike zone, and that's when it gets a little bit dicey. But the other thing with Lloyd is he'll run you out there in the 8th inning, and after that first batter, if he doesn't like what he's seeing, he's going to make a change. And we saw that consistent last year. And now, fortunately, he had the best bullpen in the American League, so it was easy for him to make that call and turn it over to the next guy. But you just get the sense that as a group of relievers in the pen, they all feed off of each other. And the biggest reason why, I think, is because Rodney takes all the pressure off of everybody by being that guy, the experienced closer that he is.
Fly ball left field. Get some carry on that one. And they're 2 down. Here in the 7th inning. This morning is Lloyd's media session talking about Fernando Rodney. He says, etched in stone, that's a fact. He's got the closer role.
Yeah. Well, he said out of all the guys in the bullpen, we mentioned that there's about 10 arms out there, and they're only going to carry 7. He said that he was the one. Rodney's the only one that is here for sure. Everybody else better go out and do your job.
It was the other thing, too, that he dropped on us.
Which I thought was interesting this late in spring.
Oh, absolutely. The other thing he dropped, he says, there's not an absolute 100% guarantee he will carry 2 lefties.
Yeah.
And I thought that was for sure a gimme.
Well, I think the point that he was making, that I ended up getting out of it, is, look, we have these 10 guys, 11 guys, however many you want to put in the mix. They're all talented people. I want to leave here with the 7 best that I think are the 7 best. And if it turns out there's a couple of left-handers, terrific, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be that way. And he has, some of these right-handers are so dominant, they can pitch through the lineup. You don't necessarily have to go lefty-righty, and they already have Charlie out there.
Yeah, he says we're at a point in this organization we don't have to take 2 because of necessity. I want to take the 2 best.
Right. Now, fortunately, and this is where it's going to be tough on them, is they're going to have to make that decision, and they've had some left-handers in camp, Rollins and Olson, who we've already seen today, both of them having great spring trainings. So if he wants the 2 lefties, he's had 2 guys right off the top of my head that have pitched well enough to make this club. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to, but they certainly have done their job.
Final cut is going to be a bear.
Yeah, that'll be a difficult day for a number of guys. But I've talked to Lloyd and I've talked to Jackson Renzick both, and they both, it's a good problem to have. You know, there's going to be some guys that will be disappointed.
Well, they're going to, and that was the other thing he talked about. Lloyd said, hey, we're going to have some depth in a big club, and a AAA club's going to be pretty good. They're going to have some depth.
We said it before, and I'll say it again. We've learned from last year, you need that depth. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to need rest.
Oof, this time Orlando, bat comes out of his hand. That stretch that Medina had last year, he's got the big fastball, but when he had that breaking ball, when that thing was working, just like you're saying, couldn't put it in play.
Well, it's a hard slider that he throws, and when he has command of it and he's running it off the outside corner to the right-handers, one, is hard to lay off of because he can throw 95 miles an hour, but two, when he locates it like that and it's such a late break, it looks like a fastball to you, and you pick it up late, and by then it's too late. You're done.
0-2 pitch. Tried to paint and missed. Curtis just did a count. Mariners used 15 guys out of the bullpen last year total, counting everything.
Right. And they finished the year with 8 guys out there. They were going with 8. Brandon Maurer was the latest addition, and then Carson Smith came in there.
Ball and 2 strikes. Strike 3 called. Medina popping that fastball to get out of the 7th inning. Kansas City with a 1-0 lead. Season starts Monday, April 6th at Safeco Field with opening day, baseball's unofficial national holiday. Pre-game festivities, including red carpet player introductions, fireworks, and a first pitch by Joey Cora, begin at 12:30. Make plans to arrive early as all fans take home a magnetic Mariners schedule, courtesy of Safeco Insurance. We'll see you on opening day. 1-0 lead for Kansas City as we go to the home 7th here at the Orioles Sports Complex. Dave Sims, Mike Flowers, the Root Sports crew. Be back on TV on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. See Iwakuma Saturday afternoon against Los Gigantes, the San Francisco Giants, world champions. Well, here comes Kyle Seager to lead it off for the Mariners against veteran reliever Jason Frazier. Kyle today fly to left and fly to right. 1-0 Kansas City on a 3rd inning sacrifice fly off the bat of Gerard Dyson. Frazier, 37 years old, in his 2nd season with Kansas City. We saw him the bulk of his career dating back to 04 with Toronto. Then he got traded in the 11 season to the White Sox, and then the next year came back to Toronto for the 12 season, and then Texas in 13 and part of last year. One of Rick Riz's favorites, because they both went to Southern Illinois University.
I wonder if this will be Kyle's last at bat. I think some of the regulars probably have to go a little bit longer today because they have a split squad. I'm not sure they have enough bodies, but we'll see if this is Kyle's last at bat. Howard Johnson had a good conversation with Howard today on a number of the hitters, and I asked him, I said, "You happy? Not as many bodies down here now. At the beginning of camp, there were 60 guys in camp, and that's a lot of work for Howard." He said he was. Like everybody else, he's looking forward to opening day.
Yeah, you go in the clubhouse now, it's not as full as it had been. Like it was a casting call.
A lot of bodies.
There's Howard. Terrific switch hitter in his day.
I was talking to him today. We're talking about a number of the different guys, but I asked him, I said, as far as your job goes, how difficult is it with all the different personalities and guys to explain and get your point across? He goes, that's the biggest challenge. He said, you have to come up with ways to have them understand and get yourself to the same place. The Cano is different than Zunino or Seager or Miller. You have to know all these guys and figure out what makes sense. And that was a big part of what he had to do last year, is get to know this ball club.
Yeah, the comfort level of the coaching staff is very high, because you and I were talking to Lloyd about that before. He said, hey, man, I didn't know anybody.
Right. Well, and for him, he was talking about even like the veteran guys. He has a place to go to now with them. When he knows what they look like when they're swinging well, he knows what a few of the things are when they get out of whack, what he has to do to fix it, and then so you can make those adjustments quicker.
He's got that baseline.
And the players trust him now because he's been around for a year.
Slicing drive, left field. Taken out there by the new left fielder. We'll run that down for you in a second. On the way here in the 7th.
He said something that was interesting, too, because I was asking him about spring training and then you get into the season. He said the hard part is with the younger players. He said you may see that you need to make some big adjustments to them, but it's hard to make them do that here because they're competing for a job. And you don't want to put too much on their plate, and then all of a sudden they play poorly even though they're making the right adjustments. Then you get in the season, you just keep working along those lines till you finally get them to where you want. He said you can't make those changes overnight because these guys, it's not fair to them. You have to give them a chance to compete and try to win a job.
Anxiety levels high enough as it is.
And I would think that would be difficult too. That would be a hard part of your job to be patient enough to move them along slowly to get them in that direction.
You were there as a young player. I mean, that information overload can be crippling.
It can be. That's exactly right. And you're getting information from a lot of different people. It's not just the hitting coach, but your teammates, and you're watching video and doing all of those different things, and everybody seems to have an answer for you, or they have to put all that out of your mind and just go play the game.
1-2 to Cruz. Cruz today ground out to third and a single to center. Balls, 2 strikes. Mike Zunino on deck. Just 2 hits for the Mariners. Cruz and O'Malley. Kansas City has 3 hits. There's not been a multiple hit inning in this ballgame. Colon's got a hit, Kochman's got a hit, and so does Perez. That's it for the afternoon to this point. 3-2 to Cruz. That's hit a long way to right field, but tracking it down is Orlando. Out number 2. How about Mike Zunino celebrating his 24th birthday and leading off in the 5th.
And this is what you want to see. Right center field, right over the 385 mark. His 4th home run of the spring. That leads the club. And his 2nd in the Cactus League in home runs. Also hitting over 300 for the spring. Going the other way. I was talking to Howard Johnson about Mike, because we were talking about his spread out stance last night. He said the other part of it was his hand position and getting him comfortable to where he could stay more through the ball, keep the barrel in the hitting area longer. He said his tendency was to pull off and cut his swing off a little bit, and that's the reason why he was susceptible. We were talking about the slider from the right-hander, and he said that's the reason why he was that would be a problem for him, and he's really worked hard on that. So it's really the path of his swing along with spreading out his stance that has helped him, and he certainly has shown the power here in spring. He hasn't lost any of that.
0-2 to Mike. A couple of ground outs today, 1 short, 1 third.
Middle end, letting the ball travel, trying to get a better look at it, and he fouls it off.
Two out, nobody on, 1-0 Kansas City. That run coming back in the 3rd inning. Sacrifice fly by Gerard Dyson. 1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Best of luck to John Buck, former catcher for both of these clubs, the Mariners and Kansas City, announces retirement today. Will be on Saturday and Sunday. Telecast at 1:05 Saturday against the Giants, Sunday against the Padres. Zunino's gone, so are the Mariners in the 7th. 1-0 Kansas City.
Seattle Mariners baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your local Ford stores. Just in about another, 8-9 days down there in the desert. Still time, though, to get your tan going there, as we see some people out on the berm enjoying the game today. Playing hooky, maybe going on their spring break. Down there in the desert, getting you back to the Peoria Sports Complex. There they are. Yes, SPF 15 at least, girls. Remember, we're not in Seattle anymore, right, Dave?
Yeah, that's why we wear hat protection and plenty of sunblock. You know it, pal. Danny Farquhar, first pitch in there for a strike to Ryan Roberts. Danny, the fourth pitcher today for the Mariners. Felix looked good today. Felix going 6 innings, 1 hit, a run. It was earned, no walks, and 4 Ks, 64 pitches. Went down, did a little extra work to get up to his number around 80. Base hit in the left center field over the head of the shortstop, Jack Reinheimer.
64 pitches for Felix, but 44 strikes. Definitely had much better command of the strike zone. Was down in the zone a lot. Out of the 18 outs, recorded 12 of them from the ground ball, which was good to see.
So when we catch up to him later on tomorrow, he'll have a big smile on his face. Ball one to Cologne. Danny saved 16 games for the Mariners in the 2013 season with an 0-3 record, a 4.20 ERA. Good second half for him. Become a valued member of the bullpen. As you mentioned, he's got closing experience, so does Wilhelmsen. KC Catchman on deck. 1 for 2. And he lost a little feel there, so a couple of men aboard. Farquhar out of Pembroke Pines, Florida. Played his college ball at the University of Louisiana Lafayette. And there's a strike. Gabriel Noriega pinch running for Cologne. Chopper, Danny will take it. He's got the one play at first. Runners move up.
And looks like Lloyd will bring the infield in. Mariners down a run here in the 8th inning.
There's Dyson sack fly back into third, accounting for the only run in the ball game. Good fastball, good cutter for Danny.
His fastball will be around 95 miles an hour. His cutter closer to 90. Also mix in a 12-6 curveball.
1-1.
Not real happy with the home plate umpire's strike zone right now. There's been a couple of pitches, fastballs he thought were on the corner. Didn't get the call.
Hang with him.
It's tough.
Long run for the left fielder. He's there. Runner holds. Good strong throw.
Tyler O'Neill had to cover a lot of ground. Showed a strong arm.
Yeah, nice job. Tyler O'Neill.
It definitely was a fair ball, and he throws a strike to home.
Breaking ball in there for strike. Two away, two on. Base hit up the middle. That'll get one run in. Here's the second run. Throws cut off. So Ryan Jackson, a 2-run single.
It's a fastball. They want to go inside, get it on his hands after the curveball. He gets it in there. It's just down. Dropped the barrel on it, stayed inside of it, didn't try to pull it.
Lloyd going to come out and get Danny Farquhar. Tough go for Danny, giving up 2 hits, couple of runs, and leaving a runner on. 3-0 lead for Kansas City. We shall return after this timeout.
Scored 2 in the 8th inning. They now lead 3-0 while Grady Wood gets loose on the mound for the Mariners. We want to find out again where you're rooting from. Keep sending in, and thank you for sending in all the great tweets and photos during today's Mariners game right here on Root Sports. Keep them coming. Tweet us at #WhereIRoot. Remember, we want to see you in the photo. Kids are optional. Maybe not the pets, but nice job in Salem, Oregon. A lot, of course, out there in Peoria. And there's a look at the Mariners' newest pitcher, Mr. Grady Wood. Guys?
All right. Thank you, Brad. At a Junction City, Oregon, between Corvallis and Eugene. That's where he lives these days. 6'1", 195. Turns 25 on May 18th. 10th round pick, 2012 draft. Grady last year with High Desert, 6-4 record, of 3.29 ERA in 40 games, all out of the pen. Had 6 saves, 82 innings, 82 strikeouts, and 22 walks. This is Whit Merrifield, the hitter. 0-2 the count. Split squad game, 9-1 Milwaukee over the Mariners. That's in the bottom of the 6th over in Maryvale. 0-2. Off the end of the bat, and will get fouled. Well, Elias, 3 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs.
It's not what you want to see at the end of spring training when you're trying to win a job.
And not when the guy that you're competing against has gone 18 scoreless. Yeah. Talking about Taijuan Walker. Oh, 2. That is some delivery. Grady Wood with a very nasty breaking ball. Kansas City gets 2 on the board. It's 3-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Home on opening day from the King's Court. Enter for a chance to buy up to 4 seats in the Royal section, which includes a King's Court t-shirt and cake-cloth. For more info and to register, visit mariners.com/Felix. Winners will be drawn tomorrow, so hurry and sign up today. Nice breezy day here in Peoria. Dave Sims, Mike Blowers, and Root Sports crew. Mariners on the short end right now, 3-0. They've been held to 2 hits by the Kansas City pitching staff today. But the good news, Felix got in 6 innings of 1 hit, 6 innings of 1 hit, 1 run ball today. No walks and 4 strikeouts, 64 pitches.
He was really sharp this afternoon, and for the Mariner hitters, it's not going to get much easier with Herrera pitching for the Royals. He'll be in the upper 90s at times. He can hit 100 miles an hour.
Another former Mariner sighting at first base. Alex Liddy at first base. Alex has trimmed down considerably since we saw him last. Looks good. Well, Herrera definitely will be pushing the upper end of the speed spectrum here. The pitch running inside. Reinheimer. Nice. Trying to catch up. Alex Jackson is the hitter. Reinheimer a little bit later. Ground ball to short, 1 away. Ryan Jackson and Charlie Furbush will get some action.
He's the one left-hander we know will be in the bullpen.
1 away for Andy Chavez, 0 for 2 today. Jackson with that ground out, 0 for 3. Strike 1, Andy. Back at it against the Royals tomorrow over at Surprise. James Paxton will get the start, a 6:05 start time. We'll have it for you on Mariners Radio Network, 710 ESPN Radio. Saturday and Sunday, 1:05 starts will be on TV. Saturday against the Giants, Sunday against the Padres. Iwakuma slated to go against San Francisco. Backhanded by the shortstop, throws out Chavez. By the second baseman, and it's now 2 away. Gabriel Noriega, second baseman. Strike 1. Dan Piolini. Piolini today strikeout and a pop to the pitcher caught by the starter Jeremy Guthrie. Bouncing ball to third. Over to Liddy, and the Mariners are retired in order in the 8th. 9th inning coming up. 3-0 Kansas City. Kansas City over the Mariners here this Thursday afternoon. The big takeaway from this game, a fine bounce-back performance by Felix Hernandez.
After struggling in his last outing, it looks like Felix is ready to go. Going 6 innings this afternoon. Pitched extremely well. He only gave up 2 hits. He had 4 strikeouts in this one and a lot of ground ball outs to help him, including this double play started by Brad Miller. So a good outing for Felix, going 6 strong innings.
Last time out for Felix against the Cubs, 6 earned runs over in Mesa. Feels a lot better about things right now. Charlie Furbush locked in as main left-hander in the bullpen. He's on to pitch the 9th. His first hitter would be a former Philly, Eric Kratz. Well hit. Knuckled on him, but he hung with it. O'Neill stayed with it. Quick look at O'Neill. Reminds me of Michael Vilas. Infielder, outfielder. Good hitter, too.
Fooled him, as Dave mentioned. It knuckled on him. But he stayed with it. Made a couple of good plays in this game today. Ricky Weeks started in left field. O'Neill took over for him.
Here's Eric Hosmer. He won't glove this one. Down the line. Extra bases. Digs it out. Gets it back in. Hosmer with a double. 1 out here in the 9th. So 1 out, 1 on. Ethan Chapman going to run for Hosmer. Good breaking ball from Charlie. For Hosmer, his 5th double of the spring. Bouncing ball, that is fair. Bobbled, everybody's safe.
Bonilla taking over for Kyle Seager. He hit him in the heel of his glove and dropped it. That'll be an error.
An error for both teams now. Veteran Ryan Roberts. That's well stroked. It'll hang up in the air for O'Neill. Runners retreat, 2 down. And I'll bring up Gabriel Noriega, second baseman. Mariners in the home 9th will have 9, 1, and 2 coming up. Ball 1. Alex Liddy on deck for Kansas City. Charlie went right after him, 1-1.
Charlie has a good fastball. He'll be 91 to 93 miles an hour. Mix in a slider.
Strike two. Couple of men aboard here with 2 outs for Kansas City. Gets away from Dowd. Both runners will move up. Wild pitch. Charlie be celebrating his 29th birthday early on in the season on the 11th of April. 67 games for him last year, 71 the year before. Tried to kick save it. O'Malley, strong throw, got him. Nice play. Last ups for the Mariners. They trail 3-0 to Kansas City.
For the Mariners, bottom of ninth, they trail 3-0. And fans, you can tune in every Sunday for a new episode of Mariners All Access. Get exclusive player interviews, behind-the-scene footage, and Mariners stories you can't find anywhere else. If you missed Sunday's episode, which is, of course, the making of this year's Mariners commercials, you tune in for re-airs throughout the week on Root Sports. A new episode this Sunday. For your local programming schedule, visit rootsports.com. In fact, I was just talking with Jen Mueller about the new show, and guys, she was asking me questions about this year's team, what we should put on that show Sunday, and I felt bad for that I was the one that had to give her answers. So I told her to ask you guys who've been there, know what's going on. So hopefully she will do that and not listen to me, and the show will be fantastic on Sunday.
All right, Brad, thank you very much. 3-0 Kansas City. And a new pitcher for Kansas City, a 9-year veteran, all with the Phillies. Ryan Madson. Record of 47 up, 30 down. Career ERA of 3.59. Here's O'Malley to lead things off. Shown with a strikeout and a single to center today. Ground ball to second. O'Malley's retired. So one away here in the Mariners' ninth.
Get a chance to see Tyler O'Neill swing the bat. Made a couple of nice plays in left field.
Way out in front. Matson 32 saves with the Phillies last year, 4-2 record at 2.37 ERA. 0-2. To O'Neill. Popped it up. 2 away. Here's Jack Reinheimer.
Let's go, boys. Hey, Ned, thank you.
2 away.
Hey, Ned, you brought a lot of pride back to Kansas City. Thank you, Ned. Thank you.
Here's Reinheimer. Last hope here for the Mariners has been held to 2 hits. Line drive, left field, and it is dropped out there. Had it, and then just could not hold on.
You're right. It looks as if he sees it fine too. Right out the hit off the heel of his glove and rolled right out the top. That'll happen sometimes. You get those big outfielder gloves.
There's Merrifield out there, keeps the Mariners alive here. The Yuri Bonilla will swing the bat. Ball 1. Second error committed by Kansas City this afternoon. Fastball, first strike. Bonilla, 234 hitter at Tacoma last year. One and two. Bonilla with 2 home runs, 27 runs batted in 90 games. The 1-2. Ground ball to third. They go short way, and that'll do it. Kansas City wins at 3-0. And again, best part of today's game, Felix Hernandez, 6 strong innings, a terrific bounce back after subpar performance at the Cubs in his last outing.
It was definitely the story this afternoon. I thought he did a great job of keeping the ball down. As you mentioned, stretching him out, 64 pitches, 44 of those for strikes. So Felix feeling much better about himself today.
Be on the radio tomorrow and catch you back here on TV Saturday and Sunday here on Roots Sports for Mariner Baseball. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Final score from Peoria, Royals 3, the Mariners nothing. From Mike Blowers, our entire Roots Sports crew, I'm Dave Sims. So long from Arizona.